Located in the southern part of Mexico City, Xochimilco is renowned for its ancient canal system, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. These canals are remnants of a sophisticated irrigation system built by the Aztecs centuries ago. Today, the area has become one of Mexico's most unique ecotourism destinations, where colorful trajinera boats gently glide tourists through the picturesque waterways. However, amidst the vibrant natural scenery and joyful atmosphere, there lies a place that stands in stark contrast: Isla de las Muñecas, or the Island of the Dolls, a small island known not for its beauty, but for its eerie and haunting ambiance. Here, hundreds of damaged dolls hang silently, bearing witness to the passage of time. The legend of the Island of the Dolls began in the mid-20th century when a man named Don Julian Santana Barrera decided to leave his family and abandon city life to live in solitude on one of the small islands within Xochimilco's Chinampa system. Locals say he was an introspective man, often speaking of supernatural occurrences and harboring a deep fear of the afterlife. One day, Don Julian discovered the body of a young girl who had drowned near his home. Floating beside her was a doll drifting along the canal. Believing the doll belonged to the girl and that her spirit had not yet found peace, he hung the doll on a tree as a tribute and a way to soothe the troubled soul of the child. But it didn't stop there. Over the next several decades, he continued to collect dolls, sometimes found in the trash, other times traded from passing boaters. Whether whole or missing limbs, each doll was hung somewhere on the island, from tree branches, rooftops, fences, anywhere they could be placed. Over time, his tiny island transformed into a bizarre cemetery of dolls, a space filled with both haunting imagery and the lingering sense of deep isolation. Anyone setting foot on the Island of the Dolls for the first time is struck by an eerie, spine-chilling sensation. The dolls, exposed to decades of sun and rain, have peeling paint, cloudy eyes, tangled hair, and dirt-streaked or even mold-covered faces. Some are just disembodied heads, with gouged out or deformed eyes, giving the unsettling impression that they're watching you. The atmosphere on the island is hauntingly silent. When the wind rustles through the trees, the dolls sway gently, creating creaking sounds that resemble whispers. Though inanimate, they evoke a visceral sense of unease, as if hundreds of invisible eyes are tracking every step of the visitors. The death of Don Julian Santana Barrera, the man who devoted his entire life to the Island of the Dolls, has long transcended the bounds of an ordinary event, becoming a central chapter in the very legend he helped create. What makes his passing particularly uncanny is not only its mysterious timing within the island's eerie narrative, but also the unanswered questions it left behind, prompting many to wonder: did he simply die of old age? Or was he drawn into the mystical world he so deeply believed in? According to Don Julian's nephew, who continues to care for the island after his passing, there were no signs of illness or sudden health problems. That day, as usual, Don Julian woke up early, took a walk around the island, and inspected the dolls he had hung over the years. Throughout the morning, he chatted cheerfully with relatives and visitors. Most chillingly, he is said to have remarked that he felt something was approaching, as if he had sensed an impending presence. That cryptic statement later sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. What's even more uncanny is the exact location where Don Julian drew his final breath, a shallow spot along a narrow canal that encircles the island, precisely where he had long claimed to have found the body of the drowned girl years before. He was discovered lying motionless, with no signs of struggle or injury, in water no deeper than his knees. The official report listed the cause of death as a heart attack, a fairly common occurrence. Yet, the serenity of that moment, combined with the eerie coincidence of both time and place, led many to believe that his death was far from ordinary. Some local residents, especially those with strong spiritual beliefs, claim that Don Julian had fulfilled his mission and was taken by the very spirit he had spent his life comforting. Others believe he had been enchanted, that the spirit of the drowned girl came to claim him, either as a thank you or a demand from the other side. There are even stories from that night of people hearing dolls laughing, a chilling sound one might expect only in horror films. While none of these accounts can be verified, they continue to feed the legend, imbuing Don Julian's death with an air of the supernatural. The death of Don Julian did not close the chapter of the Island of the Dolls. Rather, it became the perfect final act in a story too bizarre to be just a simple truth. It caused people to see him not just as an eccentric man, but as a character in modern folklore. A person living between the realms of reality and fantasy. Someone who fully embraced his own fears and beliefs. After his passing, the island remained exactly as he had left it during his lifetime. Many say they still feel his presence there, a silent guardian watching over every step of the visitors. Some claim to have heard whispers in their ears when standing at the spot where he took his last breath. Whether these accounts are true or not, they only add to the mystery surrounding Don Julian's death, transforming the island from merely a place full of old toys into a space where death and legend intertwine, creating an eternal memory. The Island of the Dolls is no longer just a story of Xochimilco. It has appeared in many popular TV shows such as Ghost Adventures, Destination Truth, Lore, and countless exploration videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and more. The footage capturing experiences on the island, complete with howling winds, creaking dolls, and unexplainable details, has helped fuel international interest in this eerie location. Many people visit the Island of the Dolls out of curiosity, a love for the macabre, or simply to challenge themselves in the face of fear. However, some visitors leave with a sense of sorrow rather than fright, for beneath the eerie mask of horror lies the story of a lonely man who spent decades conversing with dolls, his only companions. It's undeniable that the Island of the Dolls has become a unique tourist destination, but this has also sparked some controversy. Some researchers and cultural critics argue that commercializing an individual's obsession is inappropriate. However, others view it as a spiritual symbol of Mexico, where death and the world of spirits are not avoided but embraced as an inevitable part of life. In Mexican culture, especially through the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, people express their connection with the deceased through rituals, symbols, and remembrance. From this perspective, the dolls on the island are no longer seen as eerie objects, but as symbols of remembrance, atonement, and belief in the afterlife. The Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, is a traditional Mexican festival held annually on November 1st and 2nd. It is a time to remember and honor deceased loved ones. People often create altars, ofrendas, decorated with marigolds, candles, photos, and the favorite foods of the departed. Unlike the somber atmosphere of mourning, Dia de los Muertos is vibrant and joyful, reflecting the belief that death is merely a part of the life cycle, and that loved ones remain present in spirit and memory. Amid the serene natural landscape of Xochimilco, the Island of the Dolls stands as a living memory, embodying all the elements of a modern folklore tale, a personal tragedy, an eccentric act, and a series of consequences that have given rise to a legend. The island is not just a place to test one's courage, but also a space that prompts reflection on loneliness, belief, and the blurred line between reality and imagination. Standing amidst the hundreds of lifeless eyes, each person will feel something different. Some will feel fear, some curiosity, others empathy. But one thing is certain: the Island of the Dolls is a place that, once visited, you will never forget.